The Gina and Matty podcast.
Right now, we're joined on the line by ARIA Hall of Famer, multi-platinum singer-songwriter. She has a brand new album called Backbone, a new book, Just Don't Be a Head, and it is the one and only Kasey Chambers. Good morning, Kasey.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're so excited to have you, Case. Hey, and I want to talk about your new book and your new album, but your ARIA Hall of Fame speech, Case, will go down in history as one of the best ever. When you said some advice your dad gave you, can you tell us what you said in that speech?
Yeah, well, the best advice that my dad has ever given me, actually probably the only advice he's ever given me, was just don't be a dickhead. And so I put that in my ARIA Hall of Fame speech. But then later on, like years later now, it's inspired the title of my book that I've just written, which is obviously called Just Don't Be a Dickhead. But it's basically a whole lot of lessons that I've learned, advice that I've been given over the years, and just things I've learned from experiences and stories in my life. It's just a real collection of stories, you know, from down through the years.
Have you always been someone that, like, journaled in that sense, or have you got a great memory? When you're sitting down to write a book like that, is your memory like a trap? Once it's in there, you're able to remember everything, or did you have to lean on people for some of the stories?
Yeah, look, a bit of both. I think I remember a lot of what I've experienced in my life, and I remember things like what I learnt from experiences. My thing that I'm really bad at is I don't remember when things happen. So I was getting my dates wrong a lot, and I'd have to go back and check that with mum and dad, and they were like, oh, no, you're like 10 years out on that one.
Well, no one will know other than your mum or dad anyway, even if it's not right.
That's right.
Can you give us a sneaky little peek of some of the advice that you give in the book that you've come up with, not your dad?
Look, there's a lot of parenting advice in there, except it's from mistakes that I've made. So there's a lot of that, and you know me, Gina, as a parent as well. So you know that I'm a work in progress in my parenting approach.
Oh, you're an amazing parent. We all are. And you told me that you I heard you say on the telly the other night, actually, that you tell your kids don't be a dickhead as well, and that's one of the best.
Always.
I love that as they're looking out the door.
Every time they walk out the door, because my 17-year-old just got his P's. And so that's you know that's like a whole different world now, where he goes out the door and he's driving, and it's always the last thing I say, just don't be a dickhead. You know?
Hey, Kasey, you've also got a new album. You do this all the time, but I know a little bit of backstory on this album. You recorded at your studio here on the coast, and everything's pretty much one take. You don't go back and auto-tune and Melodyne or anything like that, do you?
No, and look, I mean, I don't even so every vocal that you hear on there is exactly just one take as it happened, with the drums going down, you know, at the same time. I just like doing it like that. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't get a few wrong notes on it.
But
so I'm not saying my vocals are perfect by any means. In fact, there's even a few wrong lyrics on there. But I wrote the song, so who's going to question me on it?
Doesn't matter. You know? Exactly. It doesn't matter.
You don't become an ARIA Hall of Famer and not be able to do a one-take album. That's Kasey Chambers right there. Our 13th album, Case. Speaking of remembering lyrics, when you go back out on the road for your Backbone tour next year, are you going to have to do a bit of a refresh on some of the songs that you haven't performed for a while?
You know, I've been sort of performing at festivals a lot the last few years anyway, and I love playing all the old songs. Like, we'll play a few of the new ones from the new album, but honestly, most of my gigs are always all my old songs anyway. I love playing The Captain and Not Pretty Enough, and Barricades, We're All Gonna Die Someday. They're all my favourite songs to play anyway, so I'm more than happy to drag out all that.
Yeah, well, that's what your fans want, Kasey. So everyone's got to go out and buy Kasey Chambers' new book, Just Don't Be a Dickhead, and brilliant new album, Backbone. And if you're curious, you can go and see her at Newcastle Civic Theatre on Thursday, the 20th of March next year. Case, love you.
Oh, thanks so much, you beautiful human. It's so lovely to talk to you. And we should catch up, like, not on the radio.
Absolutely.
You can get your tickets from khead.com. Lovely to meet you, Kasey. Have a great day.
Thanks, mate.
Bye.
See you later.
The Gina and Matty podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.